Howdy do, y'all. This is John, and today we are talking about Rule Breakers, a new movie out in theaters right now by Angel Studios. And in Rule Breakers, it deals with this team of Afghan girls who decide to compete in international robotics competitions. And they do this in, of course, Afghanistan, which if anyone knows a thing about Afghanistan, there's a lot of issues with women being in competitive arenas, especially with the Taliban there. So yes, while they're dealing with adversity in the competitions, they're also dealing with adversity at home, because there's a lot of people that don't, think that women should do this kind of stuff in Afghanistan. And also, this is inspired by something that actually happened. I actually looked up Roya Maboob, the main character of the film, and from my understanding, yes, that's how her name's pronounced. She is a real figure, and she did do all of this stuff with these, teenage girls. And, when the Taliban took control of Afghanistan again, full control, she had to flee over here to America, as did the Afghan dream girls, that they called them, although some went to Europe, because if they had stayed there, they would have died. So yeah, very tragic ending to this story of courage and heroism. Now, getting into it, first and foremost, what I liked about the movie, the characters are all pretty, decently developed. Roya in particular, she's probably one of the best characters in the entire movie. You get this little brief flashback of her before any of this stuff, before the US liberated Afghanistan from the Taliban, and she was not allowed to get on a computer because she was a girl. Literally the school teacher would not teach her how computers worked, simply because she was a girl. Obviously, things changed a few years later. However, even then, there was a lot of negative sentiments and taboos and stuff like that she had to overcome. And, the fact that she was able to overcome all of these things and was also able to, create this team of Afghan girls to compete in robotics competitions, that took a lot of bravery, especially from that corner of the world. And also, they just allow her to be a girl. She's not some stoic robot or anything like that. She is a girl. She is emotional, all that kind of stuff. It's her not letting these things, control her life. All these bad things control her life, and her overcoming adversity and having the courage to just, keep pushing through. That is what makes her, courageous and heroic. And also, the actress playing her does a really good job too. Thumbs up for me. I don't know her name. I don't know if I should try to pronounce it if I looked it up, but she deserves a thumbs up for me. And also, the story itself, it's universal, and it's really good. As I've stated before, it deals with overcoming adversity. It also deals with, the trials and, the press, good and bad, from being this, prominent figure, and also from just being, very competitive. And the story does a good job, illustrating all of these things, and also making you care to see these girls win. There's this one particular girl that stands out. Her name is Tara, I think. And, the relationship between her and her father and everything that happens in the movie, dealing with this relationship, this father-daughter relationship, it's extremely well handled. You look at the father, and he's a good father. he has his concerns because, Afghanistan, but his daughter is determined, and he just sits there and goes, okay, I'll let you do this. And despite everything that happens to these two, she still pushes through, and she respects and honors her father, essentially, as well as herself. And from an execution standpoint, like I hinted at, you care about everyone. You care about the situation that's going on. You want to see these girls win. But also, like, everything they add in between to make you relate to these characters. And also, just these tiny details that, add to the drama, add to, the stakes. That's really well handled. I like how they did that. Now, in terms of the visual look of this movie, there are things that I like and things I don't like. The cinematography, for example, it's solid. It does its job. It's not great. It's not groundbreaking. There is some really good shots in the film. However, I wouldn't call it like a great looking movie or anything like that. However, there's also times when the film's limited budget and resources definitely showed. There are some CG effects in this film. Not a lot, thankfully, but they don't look that great. Thankfully, a little bit of CGI in the film is few and far between. However, you notice it real badly. On top of that, there's also some obvious stock footage. I'm not joking. There is some obvious stock footage, and you can tell because, the movie's being projected to you in 4K, and that's clearly this upscaled, really badly upscaled, footage, where you can see pixelation and stuff. I'm not going to lie. You notice it pretty bad. I'd also like to point out that, the actual setup for the film, the actual beginning of the movie, it's a little poorly done. The opening segments of the film all take place in different time periods, and it is very jarring to go from 1999 to all of a sudden 2012 to all of a sudden 2014. It's very jarring, and the actual setup itself just felt generic. It's the setup you would expect in a movie about competitive, competitive sports, competitive robotics, competitive mathletics. Yeah, that's what I call stuff like that. Mathletics. Math-related competitions. How would do abysmally in those. So guys, at the end of the day, Rule Breakers, that was not a bad movie. I hesitate to call it great or anything like that. It's not Sound of Freedom or Cabrini. But it is, a pretty solid film. You like the main character, the story is really good. You care about the situation that's going on, and, at the end of the day, you're rooting for these girls. There are some issues with the film, however, the good overcome the bad. I am going to give Rule Breakers a 7. Well, that's all the time I have for today. Please look forward to more videos real soon. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Please also subscribe if you're new to the channel. And as always, please remember, the Britsky will return.